Dressing himself as a Vaishnava, Maharaj Pratyapuruja entered the garden at Balagandhi alone and began reciting verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. He then took the opportunity to massage the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord, in his ecstasy, and in his ecstatic love for Krishna, immediately embraced the king and thus bestowed mercy upon him. When there was an offering of prasada in the garden, Lord Chaitanya also partook of it. After this, when Lord Jagannath's Ratha cart stopped moving, King Pratyapuruja called for many elephants to pull it, but they were unsuccessful. Seeing this, Lord Jagannath began to push the cart from behind with his head, and the cart began moving. Then the devotees began pulling the cart with ropes near the Gandicha temple in a place known as Atitota. This place was fixed up for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to rest in. When Lord Jagannath was seated at Sundarachala, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw it as Vrindavan. He performed sporting pastimes in the water of the lake known as Indradimna. For 9 continuous days during Rath Yatra, the Lord remained at Sundarachala. And on the 5th day, he and Swarup Damodar observed the pastimes of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. During that time, there was much talk about the pastimes of the gopis. When the Ratha was again being drawn, the chanting resumed, 2 devotees from Kalindigram, Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan, were requested to bring silk robes every year for the Rath Yatra ceremony. Accompanied by his personal devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the festival known as Lakshmi Vijayotsava. There he discussed the super excellent love of the gopis. Just by hearing about them, he became very pleased and danced in great ecstatic love for the Lord. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, known as Gaura Chandra. All glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaitacharya, who is so exalted. All glories to all the devotees headed by Srinivas Thakur. All glories to the readers who have taken to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as their life and soul. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was resting in ecstatic love, Maharaj Pratyapuruja entered the garden. Following Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's instructions, the king had given up his royal dress. He now entered the garden in the dress of a Vaishnava, purple. Sometimes members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, especially in Western countries, find it difficult to approach people to distribute books because people are unfamiliar with the traditional saffron robes of the devotees. The devotees have therefore inquired whether they can wear European and American dress before the general public. From the instructions given to King Pratyapuruja by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, we can understand that we can change our dress in any way to facilitate our service. When our members change their dress to meet the public or to introduce our books, they are not breaking the devotional principles. The real principle is to spread the Krishna consciousness movement, and if one has to change into regular Western dress for this purpose, then there should be no objection. Text 6. Maharaj Pratyapuruja was so humble that with folded hands he first took permission from all the devotees, and then with great courage he fell down and touched the lotus feet of the Lord. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lay on the raised platform with his eyes closed in ecstatic love and emotion, the king very expertly began massaging his legs. The king began to recite verses about the Rasa Lila from Srimad Bhagavatam. He quoted the chapter beginning with the words, Jayati te adhikam. Purport to the text state of the 14th chapter of Madhya Lila. The king began to recite those verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 10, Canto 10, chapter 31, constitute what is known as Gopi Gita. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard these verses, he was pleased beyond limits, and he said again and again, go on reciting, go on reciting, go on reciting. As soon as the king recited the verse beginning with the words, Caitanya-caritamrta, the Lord arose in ecstatic love and embraced him. Upon hearing the verse recited by the king, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have given me invaluable gems, but I have nothing to give you in return. Therefore, I am simply embracing you. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to recite the same verse again and again. Both the king and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were trembling, and tears were flowing from their eyes. My Lord, the nectar of your words and the descriptions of your activities are the life and soul of those who are always aggrieved in this material world. These narrations are transmitted by exalted personalities, and they eradicate all sinful reactions. Whoever hears these narrations attains all good fortune. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. And those who spread the message of Godhead are certainly the most beneficent welfare workers. Purport. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:31-9. So we can see here, when we come into some kind of distress, becoming absorbed in the pastimes of the Lord is our means for rectification. If we are feeling somewhat bereaved of spiritual enlightenment, we should read from the scripture, just like we're doing now, because this activity takes us out of the material world and into the spiritual world, and places us in our constitutional position. If we're really interested in spiritual life, this kind of reading, especially in the association of devotees, association of devotees means that there is some interaction going on between you and others. Text 14. After reciting this verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately embraced the king and cried, you are most magnificent. You are the most magnificent. At this point, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not know who the king was. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy was aroused because of the king's previous service. Therefore, without even asking who he was, the Lord immediately bestowed his mercy upon him. How powerful is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Without even inquiring about the king, the Lord made everything successful. Purport. Text 16, 14th chapter of Madhya Lila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is so powerful that it acts automatically. If a person renders loving service to Krishna, it never goes in vain.